Nice.
Hey everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rizin podcast. This is Andrew Benjamin, joined by my special guest today, Mike from Ohio. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm good. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everybody. How's 2025 been for you so far?
It's pretty good. Just been working the last few days and playing Romancing Saga 2 remake.
Well, clearly, you're working because you're going to be saving up for the match too, right? Am I right?
Possibly, if that's what it's called.
We'll get into the match later, but we're going to get into talking about Rizin. We're going to talk about the first part, Rizin Bangaichi. Part one, matches 1 through 7. I'll call it. You saw them, Mike. What did you think overall of the first part?
I thought the first fight was pretty boring. We can get into that. Second fight was like one-sided. The next 4 were really one-sided or they were really fun. Bunch of good knockouts. And then you had a really entertaining freak show.
Oh, yeah.
At least I thought it was entertaining.
What did you? I guess the first question I got to ask you is, what did you think of the black tarp canvas that they put on?
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a very real contrast to what they usually do to the regular canvas. So I thought it added to kind of the underground feel to it.
Yeah, I saw that people on our Discord were not happy or like kind of didn't like it. I liked it. I thought it was I like just because I thought to myself, are they gonna differentiate between like
yes, and honestly, I like the opening I like the opening song. It was edgy, and I thought it created a different vibe than you usually get from Rizin. So I enjoyed it. Like, what were you expecting it to be the same?
No, this almost could have been like its own, like landmark. Maybe like 2-3 years ago when the landmark shows were kind of just like the whole 4 or 5 fights, whatever thing.
Yeah, before potential.
What did you think? I thought they're gonna have like Ren and Mikuru like in each corner or like whatever the entire time, but no, Ren was in some corners. I think Mikuru was in all the corners.
But like he looked like he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, they caught. I remember there was like a shot of him. They caught a shot of him like just looking down at his phone. Like he looked like he just did not give a fuck. That was fun. I was laughing my ass off every time they showed him because he just like deer in the headlights stare.
Yeah, he was only there because they probably paid him a ton of money.
In hindsight, do you know who I realized I was surprised that they did not get for the Ren Hiramoto team? It was Joe Hiramoto. I figured, wow, they didn't get his brother. I figured they would.
Didn't he just lose in deep?
He did, which is why, like, I figured, try to give him something for this fight or for this portion. I'm just surprised that, like,
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I was surprised.
Other than, I guess, kind of Anpo, but like all the fighters on Mikuru's team had a direct connection either through JTT or breaking down.
Yes.
But Hiramoto, okay. Suzuki and Kota Miura were not Ren Hiramoto's choices at all.
No.
But everybody else, except and Sina also. So
maybe Usami.
No, Usami was. I think they've trained before. I believe they trained before.
Okay.
But yeah, it definitely felt, what do you think of the whole team aspect?
I mean, I thought it was intriguing. I mean, if maybe they could do it yearly and that would be kind of something different every New Year's Eve. But I mean, would you have enough fighters to actually do that? And would you only be able to do it with Mikuru and Ren, or is there a rivalry that they can build to make that interesting?
So I knew you were going to ask that. I was thinking, like, could they do this with any other? They can maybe do like a gym, maybe. Do like Team Brave versus Team
Carpe Diem,
JTT, Power, Black Belt,
Power of Dream.
Yeah, you could do something like that. But I don't know if there's really. I don't know if you could do so much as
JTT, or how about this? How about Black Rose versus Banzai?
I fear that everybody in Black Rose would be submitted within 1 minute. but I get the idea makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like though this is not. I don't know if this will happen again. I feel like they did this as a one-time thing to make up or to replace the Garcia boxing stuff.
Right, and also to sell tickets.
I guess that's also something they sold over 22,000. It was basically almost the same as last year. So
honestly, this saved. Honestly, the second part saved. The first part saved the attendance. So, because the reality was that the regular hard, like this card was Rizin 49 was lacking in star power.
Yeah.
Initially,
I believe if I'm right, wasn't the tickets for Garcia's portion separate tickets?
They might have been. I honestly don't know.
I know it was a separate pay-per-view, but I thought for some reason they were separate tickets as well. That's what I thought.
I legit don't know.
Okay. What do you think that this was a better?
Yes.
This is better than Garcia versus Anpo.
Yes. One, it was part of the same show and it was cheaper, and two, it would have been more entertaining, and it was more entertaining, I think. So, and we got a couple of extra fights for Rizin 49. Other than that, I don't think any of the boxers would have really gotten over in Japan, if I'm being honest.
It also would have been pretty early. How old? Oh, I guess was it the same time as?
Yes, Bangaichi, or what? Yeah, when it would have started.
Okay.
So
that was 12 noon, right?
I think it would have. Yeah, I think it was supposed to start at 9 p.m. Eastern time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that would be 11 a.m. in Japan.
Okay. So that's pretty fucking early. I don't know if you're getting people to and it was also a weekday as well. That's the other thing, a weekday.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot of people are pointing out or neglecting to remember that it is a weekday. And anytime you do a show on a weekday, it's going to suffer a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly, overall, I think it's a very good crowd considering the last minute scramble. So, it shows that Rizin is a reputable brand, in my opinion, and they delivered for the most part, I think. So I would say, you know what? Count your blessings, and this could have been a hell of a lot worse.
I just wonder how much longer you can depend on JTT guys. It's because this would be like saying that the UFC is only dependent on. Where's Alex Pereira train out of? He trains out of that place in Connecticut, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I forgot what it is.
Okay, so this would be like
ATT. Like ATT.
Okay, let's just say whatever, ATT, whatever. It'd be just saying like, UFC is just gonna book ATT or mostly ATT guys because the biggest star. Oh, actually, better example. SBG. That they're gonna book SBG guys because Connor's from there. And that's the one thing that I am not so sure how much longer you can book for an entire gym.
Yeah. There were a few people that I felt could potentially be something from JTT. So not in the long term, I think you can't just rely specifically on them, but there's definitely enough talent there, in my opinion, for them to contribute to Rizin. But at singular gym, no.
Mm-hmm. But that's unfortunate. Deep is doing that with JTT. And looks like Rizin is kind of a little bit, not entirely, but they seem to be going in that direction. You know that JTT has its own fan club, by the way?
Does it? I didn't know that.
They have their own fan club, like New Japan has a fan club, how Rizin has a fan club. They have their own fan club now. That's how big they are, that they can have their own fan club.
Got it. But
I just I worry about the day that like Mikuru or let's just say some I don't know whatever thing happens, and like just say Mikuru just decides to sever ties with a JTT, and Kai does, and then now it's kind of like I'm sure he would his guys, his circle would follow him to wherever he goes next, but that's the one thing is that when you become so dependent on one person, one guy, one team, what do you do? Like, that's why some say AWA failed, because they were so dependent on Hulk Hogan and they lost Hogan.
Yeah. And
Gagne couldn't do shit after.
No, he couldn't, but that was also because he couldn't change with the times.
Well, yes, that's also because of that too, but also like you change the times by finding somebody to replace Hogan,
Yeah, and
you don't put Greg in your main event.
Yeah, and you don't keep Nick, with the deepest respect, Nick Bockwinkel on top.
Well, as a Nick Bockwinkel fan, I don't know if I can agree with that. But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yeah,
because he had been on top forever. But it'd be like booking the Crusher being the world champion in 1985. Who
was that? The Crusher?
Yeah, the Crusher.
Oh, Crusher. Okay, gotcha.
So it's just basically evolved with the times, and you get what I'm saying.
Falling Star is an interesting question. Do you think Rizin will now book Ryan at the Tokyo Dome show? He's not about to have a real fight until May this year. I thought it was earlier. I thought it was April.
I thought his suspension was up in April, but he wouldn't be fighting until July, August at the earliest.
Well, because he's got the injury now, so he's got to let the injury heal, but he's also still on suspension. The suspension is up in April, right?
I think April or May. I can't remember what it is.
Okay. I thought it was April. And then he has the injury. So
yeah.
I don't know I don't know what will come first, either the suspension or the injury healing.
I'm not sure, but even with an exhibition, I don't think an exhibition would be counted against him, would it?
Well, no, it wouldn't. But also, Anpo said in the post fight, not in the ring, but in the back, he said that he was going to be going to Anaheim, California, to fight Garcia. That's what he said. He said he's going to U.S. to fight Garcia, which I presume is California.
Yeah.
So they may not even do it in Japan. They may just do it in the United States.
It would sell more in the United States anyway.
Also, if it's in the United States, it would probably be a pro fight anyway.
No, I don't think so.
You think?
No, because Anpo has never boxed professionally.
I mean,
no commission, no legitimate commission, let's call it what it is, would sanction that.
Technically, the fight he had with Cena, I thought that was exhibition. Apparently, it was not an exhibition because they did a decision after. So
I thought it was an exhibition, but with a decision.
Wouldn't it be an exhibition? Go ahead.
No, just with the modified rules.
I thought it was just special standing rules.
I'm not 100% sure.
Every time that Rizin's done exhibition, if it goes to decision, it's a draw. So when they read the numbers, I thought like, oh, okay, then it's obviously it's not an exhibition because they wouldn't be reading decision. A decision wouldn't be rendered.
Maybe I legitimately don't know.
Even Cena in the post fight said that like I thought it was an exhibition. I didn't think it was like whatever. I mean, so, but will they book him for a Tokyo Dome show? I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, I would think that they would go to America with this.
AZ Ray Video says as tricky as JMA reblooms, they need to decide to learn cage or ring style. I've always thought that Rizin should just use a ring. I know that some of the arenas they do aren't big enough for a ring. Like that, what's the one that they do in Nagoya? What's that arena?
Dolphin, is it Dolphins Arena?
Yeah, whatever that one. Yeah, that one. That one's not big enough for no, but that has a ring. They've done that with a ring, right? Or my
Yeah, there was another one there was another venue that they used.
Messe Arena.
Yeah.
And then the one in Osaka that they do.
Castle Osaka Joe Hall.
No, the one that they do the landmark shows at.
I don't remember.
They do landmark shows in Nagoya and in Osaka.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember the venue off the top of my head.
But those venues are pretty small. They were like about 7,000, 8,000, and they're not big enough for the riser ring.
For the ring. Okay.
Yeah. But they obviously want to make money, so you gotta do a little bit of small shows. So you borrow the deep cage and then you just put the cage there. So yeah, as long as the big shows don't get to like a
UFC occasion.
Yeah, they don't start using the cage for those shows. Texas thanks is anything. That's true. You can do anything.
I know. Hence my qualifier. Any legitimate commission.
Actually, speaking of any legitimate commission, I don't think any legitimate commission would have sanctioned Anpo versus Cena. So let's just get right into it.
No, they wouldn't.
But man, was this fight not like the best fucking fight?
It was hilarious. It was so entertaining.
But wasn't it just like also Anpo legitimately did like
a really good job?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he boxed the hell out of Cena.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I was surprised at how one-sided it was. I thought Cena would be able to pressure him a little more.
That's the thing. Cena seemed to have thought it was an exhibition. And so I think he was just writing it out. Because no matter what, you get paid. I mean, okay, I don't think he doesn't appear to be the smartest guy in the room. So, maybe he's just using it as an excuse. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me was like, this guy's not bullshitting. This guy may have actually thought it was an exhibition. You'd be surprised how many times. You'd be surprised how many people don't read the rules for whatever for their things.
Mm-hmm.
Man, but I suppose it's 6 rounds, 2 minutes, but just it was all Anpo. And then 6 rounds, we got spinning back fists, illegal spinning back fists from both of them. And then the referee tried to separate these two guys. Referee gets hit with an elbow, by the way. He got hit with an elbow. Then security runs in. I thought they were going to call off the fight. I thought they were going to like rule it like
a no contest.
No contest or double disqualification or something like that.
I did.
They let it continue.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's Japan. Need I say more?
Yeah. Did you know that TMZ actually picked this up?
Interesting. I mean, I don't think it'll make a damn difference, but that's kind of cool.
It gets a little bit of talk, a little social media buzz. But I knew this fight was gonna be great from the beginning. I just knew that,
Cena was gonna be Cena.
Oh, Cena was going to be Cena. Oh, it was hilarious. Michael Schiavello and Damian Brown were hilarious on commentary. Schiavello's, I think the funniest thing he said was, Cena's talking so much, maybe we should let him come on commentary.
That was hilarious. Yeah, Schiavello was great in this one.
Yeah. But I mean, also, Anpo came in and fought smartly. This also, not to mention, this guy has this is his third heavyweight open weight guy. So
he's had Cena. Who are the other two?
Dario and Cyril Abdil.
Abidi,
yeah. So I mean, size be damned. I knew that Anpo was going to take this. And I'm glad this didn't end in like a draw. I'm glad that this actually was like had a decision rendered 60-54 all 3 rounds or all 6 rounds.
Oh yeah,
or all 3 judges. Excuse me, all 2 judges. So listen, I'm fine with the boxing stuff just as long as there's a decision rendered. I want to see a clear winner, loser.
Yeah, and make sure it's an actual entertaining fight, like entertaining matchmaking.
Yeah. Did you think that Cena was going to get like knocked down or like?
Yeah, I did because the way he was getting hit. But that as I think Chivella said some along the or Damian Brown said, it's easy to talk smack or whatever it was when you're a weight class above.
It is. Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. Also, apparently Cena knows Japanese and was just speaking English to Anpo, talking trash and. But man, this fight was so entertaining. I don't know if they're gonna upload it to YouTube, but if they do, like watch it or find it somehow.
Yeah, it was so freaking entertaining. It was only 12 minutes. It wasn't. It went fast.
It felt weird. I'll say this: when they said third round, and usually they usually say, I'm so used to hearing final round by a third round. When they said third round, I was like, my brain almost like skipped the beat because I was like, third round. So yeah. What do you think of Cena starting to talking shit to Cesaro after? Did you see that?
I did. If they could do like a mixed rules match at the match 2, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I was thinking something better though. I was gonna say MMA fights. Cena versus not Cesaro. Cena versus Claudio Estrade.
How about Cena, if we really want to torture Cena, how about him versus Edo Polo King?
I think he could knock out Ed Polo King.
In MMA?
Nothing tells MMA, yeah. I see nothing that tells me that Ed Polo King has any sort of like grappling expertise.
I doubt Cena does.
I doubt Cena does too. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of want to see him and Claudio just always like fight like once a year. Plus, also, I'm starting to have this thing now where I like seeing the kickboxers just do MMA and fighting each other in MMA. So if Rizin continues this somehow, I would absolutely love to see like Cena versus Claudio Estrade.
Or how about Cena versus Satari?
Well, did you see that Satari was
he was pissed.
Well, yes, he was. Oh, was he pissed? Are you talking about?
Yeah, we're talking. He was. It seemed like he was, considering that they didn't book him, and then they booked Cena.
I was talking about. So he took a picture of Ensign anyway today. So I think he's going to start training it with Ensign. If the picture is worth to be believed.
So he's gonna. Do you think he's going to transition to MMA full time?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't think his contract with K1 was up, and he had that whole cryptic thing, like, better not let me tell the world about whatever. So, and he K1. Listen, I'm surprised if somebody stays with K1 at this point. it's like
money.
It's I don't know everything. Money, just also like
the management.
What can Satari do? What else can Satari do in K1?
There really isn't anything. I mean, Miyata has a hell of a task on his hands.
Yeah, Satari's better off going to Glory, or maybe I don't know. Doesn't one have like a heavyweight or?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. But Satari's a quality fighter.
If he wants to do MMA, he can always just come to Rizin as well, which seems to be like what he wants to do.
Yeah, and he's a fun fighter to watch. So I'd love him in Rizin.
I'm not opposed to seeing him versus Cena finally, but I still kind of just want to see Cena and Claudio just go at it, just because those two guys just every time they go in the ring, some shenanigans happen, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, and then put one of them in with Cesaro. That'd be hilarious.
I feel like Cesaro's too advanced at this point for a lot of them.
Put him in with like a breaking down fighter if there's a heavyweight.
What about Taka Kenshin?
I was thinking him. I mean, he's a jobber, but you may as well use him.
Anpo. So let's presume the Garcia thing doesn't happen. Let's presume it doesn't happen. So what would you say? Do you think now that Minoru Kimura's out, you think that they would try Kimura versus him for the match too?
I would say Anpo versus Buakaw too.
I would say that, and I would not be opposed to it, but at this point, if they don't do Kimura, then it's never going to happen.
No, because are they going to book Kimura again?
If he passes his piss test, then they should. That's what they said.
Yeah, because he's still.
And he doesn't get arrested. He doesn't get arrested. He's out now. He's out now. Also training with Ensign, if I saw correctly, I believe.
Interesting. So he might be making the transition to MMA too.
Yeah. I don't think Anpo's going to do MMA again.
No, he's not. But yeah, but I think that those are the two opponents you would do for Anpo for the match too, Kimura or Buakaw rematch.
Well, let's see. Let's see if this Garcia thing happens. Garcia made a little appearance saying at video thing that says that he'll be back or whatever. I don't know. I'll be honest. I have to pay attention to it. So, yeah.
I'm over it at this point.
And then Anpo said he's going to be fighting Garcia in the United States. Again, I don't know if that's what he wishes. He's trying to work himself into a shoot, or if that's actually happening. So, whatever. But we got Cena and Rizin. Hopefully, we'll see more of him. That's all I care about between these two. We're gonna go on to the co-main event. I believe this was a co-main event. Yes, it was. We had Sho Patrick Usami, nice chunky Sho Patrick Usami, annihilating Isa Hosokawa's liver. That poor guy's gonna be pissing blood for a while. So we got Show's back on the winning column. Actually, this is kickboxing. I believe this is kickboxing, right?
It was.
That's what I thought. Okay, so back in the winning column with kickboxing. What do you think of this?
I thought Sho looked really good. I'm not surprised he looked a little bit bigger, considering he took this fight on like a week or two notice.
Yeah,
something like that. So he definitely looked like he was enjoying life. But I thought he looked tremendous. Like the first body shot knockdown was brutal, and then just those combinations, like the two left hooks that he knocked out Hosokawa with, phenomenal. Like that reinforces to me that he's one of Rizin's best pure strikers. If he could just get the grappling up to an acceptable level, he could really be something.
You see, the problem is this is great. This is why I love JMA. You have some people that are just good at one thing. You have some people that are like great at striking, great at grappling. I don't want to say you don't have a lot of people, but you have some people. Not a lot of people are like all rounders. So that's what I kind of like about Usami.
I understand. I'm just saying, like, if the grappling was just a little better, he could really do some damage at lightweight.
So do you expect that we'll see him back again in Rizin at some point?
Absolutely. Just to get him a win or two to build him back up. I know that it's from what you told me, the Nishikawa decision was a bad one. So him losing 2 fights, they need to rebuild him a little bit, but this is a good start.
Would you do a kickboxing or MMA though?
I would do MMA with him, but I'd give him a credible but safe opponent just to get him back in the win column.
Credible but safe. Credible but safe. I'm trying to think of who's credible but safe.
I would say.
I was about to say you. Not he. Not the guy that he already beat, Toko Dome, but he already beat him. So that would have been a safe opponent.
Takumi Suzuki. Takumi
Suzuki. Oh, I know who you're talking about. No, he's a welterweight now, I think.
He's a welterweight. Okay. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of someone who I think he could beat.
Is Kitaoka still an active competitor?
Probably not. Just bring someone from deep then.
I thought that Kitaoka was retired, but I don't think that there'll be time where I'll be like, oh, he's retired, and then like, oh, he's fighting on a deep card like a month later.
Yeah, he seems to pop up everywhere nowadays, doesn't he?
Yeah. That would be the safest fight that probably Usami could do.
Or someone from Grachon or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So Hosokawa, first time in Rizin. What did you think about him? Is he Rizin worthy of getting another shot, or
not really? Not right now, anyway. I mean, I think he's more of a light. Is he more of a lightweight like Usami is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then have him build him up in deep, and then if he does decent, bring him back.
For deep, you mean like kickboxing, deep kick or something like that?
If he does that, or he wants to do MMA and he does wins a few fights, bring him back.
I don't know if he's actually ever done MMA before. I think he's only done kickboxing, I believe.
Okay, if he's done kickboxing, then maybe he would fit more in K1. But
I'll say the same. K1 needs people, so yeah. Go to K1, man. Rise is already filled. Rise doesn't need any more people. K1 is the one that needs more people.
They do.
Next was a absolute destruction.
Yeah, mismatch.
Tatsuki Shinosuka destroying Ao Noda. Somebody mentioned, I forgot who messaged me or told me that, like, oh, Noda is a strawweight. And I was like, oh wait, he is. And I looked up, I was like, oh wait, he actually is. And Shinosuka is like a bantamweight. So I think this was at flyweight, probably. I think so nonetheless, though, it was clear that this was not going to be a good night for Noda.
No, it wasn't. This was an ass whipping. I thought Shinotsuka, I mean, I know it was in the opposition, but I thought Shinotsuka looked awesome. Again.
This man's great. He's so far he's done bare knuckle, he's done kickboxing. This was open finger glove kickboxing as well. By the way, also the other one, Usami fight was as well. So he's doing everything. What did you think about Hiroya storming the ring right after and confronting Shinosuka?
That was interesting. I didn't catch what Shinosuka said, but I'd love to see them fight, but it would have to be like MMA or mixed rules because Shinosuka would crush him standing.
I'll tell you this. I think Shinosuka will gladly take on MMA to fight Hiroya.
Absolutely.
He's got a little checklist. I like the little checklist he's doing. He's doing everything so far. He should do MMA next versus Hiroya.
Yeah, I think Hiroya would beat him if he actually grappled, but Hiroya does have a tendency to want to stand.
I don't know if, I know it's MMA. That should be Hiroya's strength. I don't think Hiroya could win. He might get knocked out. We'll talk about it later, but we saw the MMA fighter get knocked out by a kickboxer. So, I don't know. I would have to favor right now. I favor Shinosuka.
In MMA, I'd favor Hiroya, but if it's just obviously any type of stand-up, Shinosuka, no question. Like, I thought Shinosuka's jab was awesome again.
That's how he won it. That's how he won the third knockdown. Was it
second knockdown? It was the second knockdown.
Yes.
Yeah, but his jab, honestly, I think it's the best besides like Masato, as I recall. His jab is maybe the best I've ever seen as far as a kickboxer that I can remember. Because it's so fast and powerful. The one problem with Shinosuka is that he holds his hands too low, but that's also with his speed. It's kind of Roy Jones Jr. in the sense that he has such reflexes, he can get away with it.
What do you think about the whole open finger glove versus, I guess, traditional boxing glove thing? Do you have any thoughts on are you a fan? So Isha from City Life Project believes that open finger gloves leads to more finishes.
It does because it's less padding.
Okay, I was like,
I think it's 4 ounces compared to 10 ounces.
Really?
At least with boxing gloves, because boxing gloves, I think typically, I think they were 8 and 10 ounces.
Gotcha.
Maybe I don't remember the exact one. One was a puncher's one, and I think it also depends on how like the padding and the gloves. Certain gloves are made for boxers who have brittle hands and things like that.
Gotcha. I see. What about poor Aoi Noda? Second loss in Rizin, by the way.
Yes. Go back to breaking down and probably deep kick.
Oh, you're so mean. I don't think he's ever done deep kick before.
Oh, okay. Or maybe go on a Rise undercard. I think he's done Rise before, hasn't he?
Good question. I don't think he.
I thought he did. He may have done Rise once, maybe a Koraku and Hall show. I swear to God, he might have.
Oh,
Maybe
he's
I'm
done
wrong.
Crush. Yes. You're right. He was against Jin, and he's done K1 before as well.
Mhm.
He was on the
Yeah, I think-
K1. He was on the K1 World Grand Prix in 2022.
Interesting.
Oh,
And I think-
oh my God, oh my God, I didn't even like bother to look at his record and dip. He started off in deep kick, then went to K1 and Crush, then to Rizin, then to Rise. Oh my God, okay. Started off.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's 21, so I mean, he's certainly got time to rebuild his career.
Yeah. Watch a few years from now, he's like champion in like Rise or something. Like watch us just be like so off the ball, off the reservation, so to speak, with this.
Right. I mean, with kickboxers, it takes a while.
Az Ray, I'm so sorry, says has a question. Will UFC absorb the female atomweight division? What should Rizin do to prevent this from happening in 2025? Are they going to absorb it? No, but will they create one? I think is a better question. Do you think 2025 is the year that they create a atomweight division, Mike?
Well, how much would that be? 115?
Isn't it 112? No, strawweight's 115. Isn't atomweight 112?
112 or 105?
No, I'm sorry. Yes, no, I'm sorry. Yes, 105 because super atomweight for Rizin is 108. So let's assume they, they did super atomweight because Reina couldn't make 105. So let's just say that they do 105.
Mhm.
Do you think that they'll make a 105 division for in UFC?
It's possible. I'm not sure, but you would think Seika Izawa would be the first target, or one of them.
I don't think they're going to do one. Az. I don't think they have to worry about it being absorbed or usurped by UFC. What Rizin has to do is just try to,
Find people.
Just get Before atomweight was their most interesting division, and now it's kind of a joke. It's kind of a joke if Izawa taking on what is it, 1 and 2 Argentinian,
2 and 3 at
2
the
and
time.
3. I'm so sorry. Excuse me.
I remember the record. That's why.
I don't buy that. It was at least a month. That's not short notice. Reina got injured like, what was it, end of November, early December? That's still a good amount of time to find anybody.
Like Machi
or Matsuda.
Matsuda.
Anybody, just like anybody. And the fact that they just chose that woman is like just shows you how like they just don't care anymore. I think it's a division that they just don't care anymore. We're gonna see it kind of look like middleweight, welterweight at this point, where it's just like, oh, you know what? Should we have one of these? Oh, let's go ahead and have one of these. He's always only defended the title only once anyway. Claire Lopez.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And I mean, Reina would have been the second defense. I mean, there's fighters there in Japan for her, but
I think they wanted to make this they want to make it like an international card. I think that's got to be the reason why. I'm just trying to figure out like how you go from Reina to that lady. Just like
because they probably thought she had some name recognition from beating Panchon Reina.
And what should Rizin do to prevent this from happening? Well,
get more people.
Yeah, get more people. Just like reach out to Invicta. I would say Combate, but they're not around anymore.
Really?
They haven't had a show. Like,
Do we know anything official that it's been dissolved?
They haven't had a show in probably about 6 months. If if you have a show in 6 months, I just assume that
You're dead.
not. Yeah. So Victor's not around anymore. Also, it looks like GFL is going to start signing atom weights now. They already got Claire Lopez, by the way. So that's worry about that more. GFL signing those atom weight fighters. Oh, also, who scoops up a lot of atom weights as well? One as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like they don't care about, seems like they don't care about any other division besides like atom weight. Like they have a whole bunch of atom weights. They have Ham, they have Stamp.
Who
else?
Miura,
Hirata, Itsuki Hirata. Yeah, they have a lot of atom weights for a company that supposedly doesn't give a shit about MMA anymore.
Yeah, they do. They have MMA. They care about MMA. They just don't do. They're not good at promoting it.
Yeah, and should Rising crab more at BKFC? Absolutely. I think they should. Yeah, I'm surprised there was no BKFC thing on this thing, but I'm wondering like if the collaboration is still
on.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Was it even like okay? When I think of a collaboration, I'm thinking like, oh, you guys sign a contract and we're gonna work together for like 1 year. There was only 2 shows that had
2 shows, yeah,
that had BKFC fighters, and Shinosuke was supposed to be on the Pacheco show, but he got injured, and he couldn't make that show. And there's been nothing since. So I mean, the Feldman was just on. They just announced BKFC Italy. Nothing. He mentioned nothing about Rizin. I've heard nothing from Sakaki Bara about BKFC. So I'm just
maybe it's done already.
Could be done already. Yeah, I thought that they were gonna try to make, because with Bellator, you had the Bellator versus shows. You saw some Bellator fighters come to there, some Bellator Rizin fighters go to there. You know, there was evidence of something there, but I see no more evidence of anything happening anymore. So I'm just kind of like, is this even a thing anymore? Was it just something that like, they just said, oh, we're going to just do it. We'll just have it for these 2 shows or whatever. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. That's my I would like to see him collab with them, but it might be dead. It might be dead at one point.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. That's the most that we can say is we'll see. Continuing on, in I guess traditional kickboxing, Asahisa basically put on a clinic against Yura, though they both got knockdowns in the first round.
Yes, this was an awesome fight.
Yeah, so you want to talk about this fight? See, I'm kind of like indifferent to kickboxing, so you could talk about this fight more, especially because you are familiar with Asahisa.
Sure. First off, awesome fight. I thought Yura looked good, but I thought the experience and the craft of Asahisa showed. He was quicker. He had more variety with his attacks, which I think was the big difference. There was a speed difference, and just Yura couldn't solve the constant switch hitting. He couldn't solve the kicks because those leg kicks hurt him. And then finally at the end with those body kicks, and then the final one that knocked him down near the end of the 3rd round, it was a competitive one-sided fight, I guess you would call it, but it was clear who won. Asahisa looked great, and I would love to see him again.
What this is lightweight or was this featherweight?
I'm not sure. It might have been 135 or whatever it is.
Okay.
I thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong. I may have misheard it, but because Asahisa fights at lightweight.
Oh, okay. Does K1 do that thing where like lightweight means bantamweight or something, like some weird?
Kind of like one does. I don't know, but either way, like I said, I thought Asahisa put on a clinic, as you put in the description, and yeah, Yura is no longer unbeaten, but I think he has a bright future. But he's got to work on the kicking aspect of the game.
Mm-hmm. Do you think so? I'm assuming Asahisa is still of K1 at this point.
Yes,
as far as we know. Okay. What about the future of Yura? Is he somebody that can be a K1 guy or a Rise guy, you think?
Well, he's fought in Rise before.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he has. I'm sorry. Yes.
He's fought in Rise before, so I don't remember who he beat, but
okay.
He certainly
So whenever like someone fights in Rizin, and they already fought like in Rise or somewhere, they tend to get a little bump up the card a lot. They tend to get like 2 or 3 spots up. If like you're a prelim guy, you then fight in Rizin, and then you go back to Rise, and you kind of get like bumped up more towards the whatever. Do you think he can get a spot or do you think he should get a spot?
I do. I mean, he's 14-1, but he's definitely more talented than some of the other fighters I've seen in Rise. I like the World Series shows and their Koraku and Hall numbered shows. Absolutely.
Has he fought a K1?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, they have this fight at 146.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think that's what, featherweight? No, that's welterweight, I think.
I'm gonna just for posterity's sake just call it featherweight. But yeah, I believe you are correct. Wait, also, did you say he was 21? He's 21.
I thought Yura was 21. Asahisa is 26.
Yes, that's Yura is only 21. I thought he was older for some reason. I don't know why. I thought he was older.
He's got but he's got a hell of a future. He needs more experience.
Mm-hmm.
And probably too much too soon for him as far as fighting such a quality veteran, like a quality young veteran. But
he still has that win over Kimura. That win over Sota Kimura is still an impressive win, especially
absolutely. Absolutely. It's just that Teo Asahisa is a different beast.
Yeah. I thought there were. It's funny because with the amount of times that Asahisa has fought, and he's 26 apparently, and he's a bantamweight. Bantamweight, they list him as. So
yeah.
I don't know. Like, what is bantamweight like in K1 now? It's probably not.
That I'm not 100% sure. And I forgot. Is Yoza no? I don't think Yuki Yoza is the champion at that weight class. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head.
Isn't it a Wersak? How do you pronounce the name?
Wersak crack?
Yeah.
One of the. Maybe it was one of the ties, but either way, I have to do more research on it. I watch K1 and I follow it, but I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Okay, gotcha.
Because there's so many damn weight divisions in K1 too.
Oh, I know. there is. Do you think kickboxing should go the way of just open finger gloves at this point, or
no? No, I think you can do both. I think both of them have appeal and add something different to shows, and it gets more people. It gets you a bigger roster and more potential drawing power.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, man at this point should probably be doing open finger gloves for everything, frankly.
Oh, he should be doing just MMA. I think he's good enough to be doing MMA at this point.
Yeah, but he said he wants to do kickboxing again, I think. And he's still a champion in Rise and a belt that hasn't been defended in over a year.
Who would he? You think they would do Yaman versus Anpo?
Why not? Do it open finger gloves. I'd be game for that.
Interesting. They still need to do Ren versus Anpo now that I think about it. They still need to do that match. That match is still one of those matches that K1 just never did for whatever reason. Yeah,
but probably because Ren wasn't built up enough at that point. He left K1, I think, in 2019, 2018. He wasn't on the level then as he is now.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Moving on, we're into the MMA portion, the stuff that I kind of care a little bit more about. And I guess we'll start with the first, and this was an absolutely brutal. This was brutal. Daichi Tomozawa, a kickboxer, knocked out Kota Miura. Do you ever see the Wrestle Kingdom match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Sakuraba?
I think I did once, but it's been a while.
Okay. It's a great match. The same exact spot that Kota Miura got knocked out with was a spot that they did in that match. And I think the origin of that spot is from one of Nakamura's MMA matches. I think it was against
Alexei Ignashov.
I think it was him. I think that was him. And so Nakamura has done that spot. Like, I think he did that in the Sakuraba match. I think he also did in the AJ Styles match at Wrestle Kingdom. I think. Okay. I know he's done it more than once. But that's exactly how, that's why I immediately thought of when I saw this knockout.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
Oh
did you see the post fight where they had to wheel out Kota Miura on a wheelchair, and he looked like he didn't know where he didn't know where he was. He legitimately didn't know where he was.
Concussion.
If he does not have a concussion, I will be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely had to have a concussion.
Yeah.
They had him speak at the post fight thing. I was like, they shouldn't have even had him speak at the post fight thing. I was there at when he fought Yaman, and he got a brutal beating there. And I was like, why are you having this guy speak to us when he's clearly off his rocker? So, but I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was going to say this was a freaking brutal knockout, and this is Kota's third bad knockout in a row.
Yeah, and I mean,
he's clearly he's not good enough. I think that's pretty damn clear.
This is also like
close.
Yeah, he's spending a lot of time doing
in Thailand.
Thailand, hanging out, Buakau. I think I only think he may have even been training for this fight when he got the offer, and he said yes, and then he started going into camp. He said on his Instagram that he's not going to likely fight in Rizin again. He's going to try to fight other places. And he said he's going to travel the world as well, which I assume means that he's going to try to train at other places around the world. So
I wish him the best, but as of right now, he has no business being in Rizin. None.
Do you think it's too late for him to develop as a fighter, though?
No, not at all. He's 22. He's super young.
He's 22, super young. Has already been knocked out though 3 times. 3 of them by kickboxers turned MMA fighters.
Yes.
What an irony. What a weird irony.
It is it's ironic, but if he commits to it, I don't see why he can't improve.
Because the whole thing was that this guy was supposed to be, this guy's from, he trained at Brave, and he's supposed to be all the grappling stuff, and we've only seen that in one fight. That was a Yushi fight.
Mm-hmm. And then against that tie at Super Rizin 2. Or Super Rizin.
I forgot about that fight. I forgot. Can we even count that? It's like
Probably not. Probably not.
Wow. This guy. Wow. Okay. I'm just looking at that guy. That was his only MMA fight. He's only done boxing since, and he's got knocked out in a bunch of those fights anyway. So yeah. What do you think? So do you who still wants to fight him? Who still calls him out? It's so funny. Felipe Massoni still calls out Kota Miura. I think it's hilarious. Well, yeah. I think Massoni would fuck him up. Like, I don't know. Like,
At this point, yes. As far as Tomizawa, I think you bring him back. Obviously, that was a damn good performance. So have him train MMA legit and see what he's got. Do you have him? I was going to say, do you want to do MMA or bring him for another kickboxing thing? Do MMA, but move him somewhat appropriately. Mm-hmm. Whether that happens, I can't. Probably not. Let's call it what it is. If Roya Shinotsuka didn't happen, would you want to rematch Shinotsuka and Tomozawa in MMA? Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. Listen, they're doing that with all the kickboxers. Kickboxers are going all into they're now doing kickboxer versus kickboxer as debut MMA fights now. So yeah, I wouldn't mind it at all. Tomizawa, at the very least, he's entertaining. Why not? Falling Star has a question. Do you think Rizin should be asking for the Saudi money now, the competitive advantage, and a pitch to the Saudis that Rizin had the Japanese market in the palm of its hands, a major world market? I'll say, listen. Sorry, Mike, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, why not? Hey, if you can, take the fucking Saudi money. I don't care what. But here's the thing. There will be a change in who is on the card, though. You do the Saudis aren't just gonna give you money and be like, for the hell of it. One. You're gonna have a lot. Those flags next to the names on the Wikipedias, there's gonna be a lot of flags on there that are from
Russia, Dagestan, Middle East. You're going to see a lot more fighters there. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Rizin got Saudi money, they would gladly sacrifice Japanese fighters so that those Saudi, Middle East, Caucasus fighters, I'll just say, okay, not just Caucasus, Muslim fighters can get the edge over. So, if you want them to get that money, it's go ahead. But there is going to be some sacrifices that I don't know as fans we may not enjoy.
Yeah, it's basically some really bad matchmaking.
Yeah, you'll have I'm trying to think.
Kitakata versus another Dagestani.
You'll have Kota Miura taking on some Dagestani who's 10-0 and whose submissions are all in the first round or some shit like that. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it could likely be.
Yeah, or Yuta Kubo versus some Kolesnik.
Yeah, yeah. So think what's it called? What's it saying? Think before you wish or whatever. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. And did I even? Oh, okay, I did. I'm sorry. The other MMA match that we have on this card, Hyoma Yasui out-grappled Hiroaki Suzuki to death.
Yes.
I was reading press for Yasui.
I was too.
Oh, he was his judo sweeps, judo throws. I'll say this, oh yeah, and there was one part where he did a back take, almost I don't know how to describe it. He just got to Suzuki's back, just it was so fluid.
For his third pro fight, this was hella impressive.
What about Suzuki though?
Or its fourth pro? I thought it was third or fourth, whatever it was.
What about how about Suzuki though? Kuda Barakun, as he called himself in this fight. So
overmatched. Just doesn't have the grappling skill.
I think he's past that point where. Yeah.
Maybe you can build him back up as an opponent, but at this point he's just
I think it's a gatekeeper now. I think he's a gatekeeper now.
Yes. Yeah, and maybe have him fight, I don't know, Ushiku or something. I don't know.
I'm continuing on with the whole kickboxer versus kickboxers. I mean, technically it's shoot boxing, but whatever, same fucking thing. Kubo versus Suzuki. Just fucking do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Coming off losses,
but also we don't have to worry about the grappling in that fight. No one's gonna get their face smashed in with elbows or judo sweep 10 times in one round. So I think just do that, and it'll be a fun fight. I mean, it's so funny that he's at Bonsai Jiu-Jitsu, and yet I don't see any Jiu-Jitsu improvement from him. I mean, he didn't get submitted, so I'll give him that. So, but Yasui, man, listen, you bring him back to Rizin, or what do you say? Have some
absolutely. I absolutely would bring him back to Rizin. He looks like a really good prospect.
Who do you think? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he just needs seasoning, pretty much.
Rizin will die. Welcome back. It's Hyoma Yasui, the first real talent from Breaking Down.
No. Yura.
For MMA.
Hiroya. Despite the record, he's a solid fighter. You and I won't agree. You and I won't agree on this.
I think Yasui is just a better overall. I can't take someone seriously who gets knocked out by Tokuro. I'm sorry. That's just what it comes down to.
Fair enough.
I get what he was saying. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Hyoma. Yes, Hyoma. He's a legit prospect. I think we can all agree on that. He's what, feather?
Yeah, feather. He looks like he could make feather bantamweight unless the camera was adding 10 pounds that wasn't there.
Yeah, I could see him either or. he would be if they can build him up, he would be a really interesting fight for someone like, say, Kleber, long term.
Oh, I think Kleber would fuck him up. I'm sorry.
I'm talking about in a few years.
Even in a few years, if Kleber doesn't retire, because I don't know if you saw the backstage, he hinted at retirement, after a few more fights. Let's just say Kleber's still there. I think Kleber fucking subs this guy in the first round. This guy's jiu-jitsu is good, but it ain't Kleber good. I know that's the one thing that I think 90% of the fighters Kleber could beat on that roster.
Oh, I know. But I'm saying, I think I like this guy a lot long term.
I would look forward to the match, though, but I just think based on right now, Kleber wins. I'm sorry, what was I going to say? But I was going to say, who's a resident jobber guy that you put against people when you want?
Ashita.
I was going to say him. I wasn't going to say him. I was going to say Dominator.
How about either or would be appropriate?
Yeah, okay. Ashita or Dominator. I think there's a better chance to.
How about Seguru Ni?
I don't know.
Or too much too soon.
Too much too soon. Ni has to. I don't know. I was not happy with that performance, to quote GSP. So, I think you give him you have to give him a Dominator or Ashita type, a gatekeeper. Suzuki is a striker gatekeeper.
Or a Koro.
Do that in deep, though. I don't want to see that. Okay. So, but Ashita and Dominator are Rizin worthy, in my opinion. So they have the Rizin pedigree. Koro has that one fight, like landmark from like.
How about having fight? Oh yeah. How about maybe Yasui versus Tetsuya Seki?
That could be good, but he could get knocked out.
Well, he's gonna have to be tested again at some point.
I know, yeah. But I think it's great to put him up against another like grappler type person, and that's Dominator, and that would be Ashita. So I think either ones are good choices.
Okay.
Falling Star says, "Do you think Rizin will try harder to work with PFL? If Rizin the only way for Rizin to be on PSN and get promoted by them? PFL doesn't want to work with anybody." And
no.
I said this. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
No, I was going to say they seem to be isolationist as far as that goes.
It was on Todd Atkins' show and maybe Isha's show when we were talking about, prospective Bellator, whatever thing. I was like, I don't see PFL. That's just not in their wheelhouse to work with other people. Doesn't mean that they're not going to send fighters or that they're going to request fighters in case somebody gets injured or whatever. But I don't think we're going to see like PFL's Bellator or whatever versus Rizin. I think that's done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seems more like an unspoken agreement.
It also just like where would it fit in like PFL's like goals? PFL has this thing of ESPN, like you said, and they've been doing the tournament thing forever. They don't seem to be running under. Well, okay, the other thing is that if PFL just be like decides to abandon that whole tournament thing, they're just another MMA promotion. I hate to say, I know a lot of people don't like PFL for a multitude of reasons, and including the tournament thing. But tournament thing is why they stand out. You can't just be putting on MMA fights. Doesn't get people to watch you anymore. This isn't the era of Strikeforce or Elite XC or Affliction where you're on cable TV and people or not cable TV, whatever it is, regular TV.
IFL.
Yeah, and people just tune in because everybody's watching TV at the time. I just don't see PFL giving up their tournament thing. They haven't done it. That's their branding. That's how they brand themselves.
Yeah, the tournaments.
Yeah, whether you like them or not, that's how they stand out. Let's see how this. We should be asking if Rizin will work with GFL. Let's see what GFL does. Maybe Rizin and GFL can get something together.
Will GFL even run a show?
Well, they said April. They said there's supposed to be something in April. So let's see.
We'll see.
And the opener And I'm curious to hear what you thought, Mike. Did Gomio do enough to beat Playboy in this fight?
Well, first off, it wasn't very exciting.
Really? I thought it was a pretty exciting fight.
I was kind of bored with it, but I don't know. I mean, he dominated in terms of like positioning, but all the damage was done by Okada. So yeah, Okada.
Okada. I just call him Playboy. It makes it easier.
Playboy. I think if you do unified rules, Gomio wins. If Playboy, if you do it under Rizin rules, probably Playboy.
Because while Playboy did get cut, that's damage.
The knockdown.
And also Playboy was closer to finishing.
Yes.
But Gomio had more, and this is
control.
They call it generalship.
Yeah, ring generalship.
Yeah. If they rule this a draw, would you have been opposed?
No, but since I don't think Rizin MMA rules has draws.
Have they ever? You're right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right. But you can. I think there's times where you can make exceptions where it's like so close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like nobody does enough. I've always said that they should always that Neiman Gracie versus Jason Jackson should have just rule a draw because neither of them I thought did anything to just win. But I thought Playboy won. I haven't watched a fight back, but I thought Playboy won when I was watching it in real time. I do think that I was high on Gomio at one point. I thought I put him in like my top 10 like people to look at from Japan. I don't know. I might have to take when I redo that list this year. I don't know if I could put him on.
Yeah, his takedowns suck.
They're think bad. Yeah. Any good grappler that he takes on would like just
mess him up.
Even a striker will like can get to him.
Yeah, I will say I do think that they'll bring him back. Rizin.
Oh, absolutely. I'm surprised that he hasn't already fought in Rizin by this point, but he's a JTT guy, and he'll definitely. Who do you think they would want to match him up against? Dominator or Ishida, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, he's a featherweight, right?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe him. Would you book him maybe with Hiroaki Suzuki?
He could get knocked out by Suzuki.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. He got knocked out by Karate Kaneshita in deep. So if you could get out by knocked out by him, it's liable to happen with Hiroaki. And I don't think his grappling is good enough that he can coast on that for 3 rounds.
True. Another person at featherweight who I just thought of him who hasn't fought in a long time is Takeshi Yokoyama. I know we fought fairly recently, but in Rizin, no.
Yeah. Is he still even in MMA anymore at this point? If somebody doesn't, has he fought since the Majima fight? Because that was the last.
I think he did. I think he was injured.
Well, because he did the quintet thing.
He did. Yeah. But I thought he fought in was it Deep maybe, or was it maybe fighting Nexus?
Oh, yes, you're right. It was August. Okay, so I thought he was okay because that's a year. That's almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
Since that fight. Okay, interesting.
Right, but I'm saying like we forgot about him. I mean, you could put him in with
I think he submits Gomio in round.
Oh, absolutely. I'm saying like I'm trying to think of Rizin matchmaking, and since they're pretty brutal anyway when it comes to younger fighters,
that's true.
Why not? This is something they book, or maybe they'll book Yokoyama versus I don't know, no. I have an idea. How about him versus Ryogo Takahashi?
Interesting. Ryogo Takahashi had a great knockout at the show.
Yes,
show it went to.
Oh yeah, that soccer kick was awesome. I'm saying like I think he was off like a 5-fight losing streak, and finally won. So I think as a barometer of where Gomio is, I think Takahashi would be a good match.
How about Koki Akata, Koki Playboy?
Would you put him in with maybe Tomizawa?
So here's the thing. I say he. Did you know that he was apparently a kickboxer? He started off kickboxing.
Yeah, he fought in K1 a few times.
But I think he wants to be full MMA. I say at this point, send him back to deep. Let him get 2 or 3 wins back in deep.
Okay.
I think he needs to get 2 or 3 wins in deep, and then give him the Rizin call. Bar can call him on the red telephone. I don't think he's Rizin worthy yet. He's entertaining. No. He's got personality, but the spots can be filled with much more people who have more depth on their resume, and I think
potential.
Yeah, not that he doesn't have potential now. Let the potential shine somewhere else, and then he could come here. You know, I
gotcha. But I will say this, just encompassing the show, I thought there was a lot of promising young talent on this part of the card.
Oh yeah, it was great to see a bunch of people that haven't fought before on a stage like this, and they got to fight on this thing. Did you see how pissed off Ren was after the decision of the fight?
Yes, I did. It could have went either way. But I don't blame him for being mad, because I could definitely see Akata winning this fight.
It was interesting because he said that they were going to protest it to JMOC. I don't know that if it's probably not going to get overturned, but question: could you potentially do a rematch of these two?
Yeah, I think you could. Maybe you do it at the next Rizin show.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you this: I think Deep would try to do it. I think Deep would be like, "Oh, we could definitely get some money this way. We could sell some tickets this way."
You know who might be an interesting fight for, now that I think about it? Who was the guy that beat Junior Ibino at the Rizin the landmark show?
Taito Kubota.
Why not put him in?
Are you talking about the recent one, or you think
one? Yeah, after the rematch, not the one in the rain.
Yes, that was Taito Kubota. Yeah.
Yeah, then and maybe is he a feather or a bantam?
Bantamweight.
Never mind that. Well, I mean, you could probably put maybe Kyoma Akimoto in with that guy.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Kyoma Akimoto against Akata, right? A Playboy?
No, just the guy I was thinking of.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
No, with Akata, yeah. Now that I meant go to deep, although maybe him versus Seki might make sense.
Oh, that could.
Because Seki's not a grappler at all.
He's not a grappler, but Akata, he's a little bit too brazen. He's got to learn a little bit of defense so he doesn't get, doesn't get sliced open. So yeah. I don't know. Against Seki, that might be a little bit too much. That's why I think if he goes back to deep, he could fight. Get a little more of those miles, so to speak. Or
Raiki Endo.
Who's that? Sorry,
Raiki Endo.
Oh, Raiki Endo. Oh, sure, yeah. But like, if they want to redo them, Endo. Well, if they go to Sapporo, maybe Endo. But like, yeah, if or just do the rematch. Maybe Deep will just run it back because that way they'll sell some tickets. And that could easily co-main event or main event a Deep show probably.
Yeah, Korakuen, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Or New Pure Hall. That's kind of like their Tokyo Dome is New Pure Hall for their shows.
How many can that seat?
I would say probably 800, maybe 700, 800, but they treat those shows bigger than the Korakuen Hall, some of the Korakuen Hall shows.
Interesting. You would think Korakuen
at the last show, the main event I went to was Jin Aoi versus Ashida.
Wow, and that's another guy who should be back in Rizin, Jin Aoi.
Every time he's been in Rizin, he shit the bed.
I know, but as the Deep champion and the run he's on, he probably should be there.
He should be, but I was high on him when he was when they're like, oh, they had him take on the other prospect who I'm forgetting. Was it Rizin? I forgot because I was like, oh, prospect versus prospect, and it turned and they both.
Yeah. Was he the one who beat Boku too?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
that was the other thing, was that it like took forever for him. Like he was too like hesitant to do anything
Yeah.
against Boku.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, very true. But
Yeah. It was it was Shirakawa.
Shirakawa.
Yeah, Dark Shirakawa. Yeah, and he hasn't been called back since, and he lost that fight. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's a lie. He beat Hiroaki Suzuki in 2022. I don't remember that fight.
Yeah, I don't even.
He's not. When it comes to Rizin, he like chokes. He chokes, man. He chokes badly.
Gotcha.
So I'm curious to know, what were your favorite fights of this portion or finishes?
Well, favorite fight was Yura against Asahisa. Phenomenal fight. Sho Patrick Usami winning his fight, and then Cena and Anpo, just for hilarity's sake.
Easy choice for me. Sina versus Anpo. Nothing was better than that. And that finish, fucking Tomozawa kneeing Miura to the shower round. But I want to give you an opportunity also to say, what other parts of the card did you enjoy?
I thought Kleber versus Chihiro was an excellent fight. Chihiro really impressed me, even though he lost. He's really improved his grappling. Because in a year and a half, that's remarkable how much he's improved. I did think he was winning the fight up until the last couple of minutes. He should have gotten out of guard. He should have just stood up instead of stayed in guard, grounding and pounding.
Sorry, go ahead.
I thought he should have just stood up, not stayed in the guard.
Oh yeah,
and I think that cost him the fight. Honestly.
What was I going to ask you as well? Oh, what do you think? Which is better? Did you think this was better or Super Rizin 3?
Super Rizin 3.
Good.
Not as many decisions.
Not as many decisions, but also okay. 11. I'm sorry, but you're good. If you could give me a great card in say 5, 6, 7, 8 hours versus 11 hours, I'm just gonna by default pick the shorter one.
Fair enough. And then I was also going to say,
the need to Takeda fight was terrible as well. Like what a fucking, I don't know what the fuck happened. It's like someone unplugged their controllers. Sorry, go ahead.
I also thought Horiguchi looked vulnerable.
Oh yes, he did. Very much so.
He's past his prime now, I believe, and I wouldn't go to UFC if I were him.
Oh no, it wasn't. If UFC saw that fight, they're laughing. They're like, "You want to come back?" And yeah.
Makoto Shinryu losing was a surprise.
That was a tough fight to judge. But I see why they picked. I see why they picked him.
Mm-hmm. I thought that Kyoma Akimoto, even though he lost, he did a really good job with the defensive grappling. He just needs more experience. There's nothing that Motoya did that makes me think he can beat in a way.
What was I gonna say? Sorry, I'm doing work stuff and I'm also watching this, so my brain's like melting. Rizin says, what are your thoughts on exactly half of the event ending by decision? Listen, I'm not opposed to decisions as long as the fights are good. I know there's like a I'm fine with the fact that Chihiro and Kleber fought a Hardwell fight for 3 rounds. And listen, to go to the decision of Kleber, go to the decision with Chihiro, listen, that's a credit to both of them.
Horiguchi and Zulu.
Yeah. I mean, Zulu's is a tough guy to finish, and Kyoji always wins somehow. I'm not opposed to, it's decisions can be fine as long as it's not some like sparring, jib jab, cover up, or laying each other for 3 rounds.
Oh yeah, and then Ashizawa getting knocked the hell out by
Fukuda.
Ryuya Fukuda. That was a surprise how quickly it was.
Yeah.
How quick it was.
Yeah. Next,
but that's what stood out.
A Falling Star said the next UFC star that Rizin will try to lure sit in one of their shows. I feel John or Alex are the next big fish. Are you talking about John Jones and Pereira?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, say Falling Star. They're not coming to Rizin at all.
Maybe to watch at some point if they ever come to Japan and the timing's right, but
yeah,
that's about it.
They'll pay him. They'll pay him money to just say Happy New Year to everybody, or whatever. Any thoughts on Sean O'Malley? Want to just?
Whatever.
I don't know why you have people on our Discord who are like, "Oh, this is like proof of UFC collaboration." Like, if anything, it proved to me that there's absolutely not a UFC collaboration.
No, it's just Sean. They just wanted Sean O'Malley to. Maybe they thought maybe they get some coverage with Sean O'Malley being there.
And they did. They fairly did. But if you check the video on YouTube, that Sean O'Malley video is one of the lowest viewed YouTube videos on their channel.
In other words, the Japanese don't care.
Basically, yeah. Basically. The video of Bara has over 100,000 views. Probably more now. The last time I checked with the O'Malley, it only had 22,000.
Wow. I mean, it's one of those things that what clicks in America or won't necessarily click in Japan and vice versa.
But also, like, he was there. He didn't fight. He didn't do anything. No. He just came to, so there's really nothing. Also, by the way, as well, he never said he wants to fight in Rizin.
He just wants to fight in Saitama.
I can't believe that like got passed around as that he said that. And like, if you watch the video, he clearly does not say he wants to. He says he's gonna fight in UFC forever. Like that stuff. That sort of misinformation like really like just pisses me off because like
he said if he implied he wanted to fight if he had the chance he'd like to fight in Saitama.
Yeah. He said he would love to fight in UFC Japan. But also, like, it kind of pissed me off because, like, if you're UFC brass and you read that, I hope you actually read the full quotes because there would be retaliation like against him if he said that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I hope that like they know that he didn't mean that. Well, that
absolutely.
He didn't actually say that. So
yeah, absolutely.
So Mike, where can people reach you?
I'm Mike S. I know, creative on the Discord, on the We Are Rizin Discord, and that's it.
Yep, and you can join the Rizin Discord, Rizin FF, right here, and we discuss all we can about Rizin. Sorry, he said he wants to fight in Japan. No. There was a mistranslation. I'm willing to bet that. Oh, so it was Verdict MMA who's the one who said that he wanted to fight in Rizin. I don't know why they even said that because they obviously speak English, but he clearly says in English. If you watch the video that I want to fight, he says, I would love to fight in Japan. I would love to fight in UFC Japan. He never said he wanted to fight in Rizin. It's just a lie. It's not, there's nothing. There's nothing. I don't even know what words to say because it's like.
We forgot to talk about the big announcement.
Oh, match. Yeah. Sorry. If you want anything you want to say about the match too.
Seems like they think they can make money off of it. They put it in the Tokyo Dome. I didn't think there really was a need for it, but I guess Mikuru wants to run it back and it'll sell tickets. That's pretty much why it's happening.
It's more like Mikuru's insane fans wanted to run it back because like that's all like they're still salty
the allegations.
They're still salty about that even though like they came back negative. Let's assume that drug stuff was the truth, that he wasn't taking Ren wasn't taking steroids. I don't know if it's true or not, but like I'm gonna tell you that I'm still picking Ren to win.
Yeah. I mean, it's a money match. And people will pay for it. That's basically why it's happening.
Yeah. Still think they should do Saito and Ren for their double retirement fights next New Year's Eve, maybe.
Anyway. And they're gonna have to load up the undercard.
Oh yeah, that too. I think we'll see like Akimoto. I think we'll see a lot of the people we saw on this card be on that card. Maybe they'll also start the flyweight Grand Prix there. This maybe.
If that happens, who knows?
If it happens, I have to say if it happens at that point, because I thought they're going to announce something here, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, continuing with the end of your marks, Discord, Rizin FF, please join. Please follow my buddy J Wolf at JYolf1 on Twitter X. Follow J Christian Gary at J Chris Gary Twitter X, and follow his project Focus Fights. All the stuff is right there. Please follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and please also like. I hate I have to do this, but please like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. It's cringe, but like apparently people actually forget to do that. So, but please do that for this video. It would mean a lot to me. And also follow We Are Rizin Pod, the Twitter, where you can find all the updates of everything JMA and all that stuff. So with that being said, part 2 will be Sunday. Captain will be on to talk matches 0 through 9. Other than that, appreciate everybody who tuned in, ask questions, interactive. Appreciate the support as always, and hopefully we'll see you for part 2 on Sunday. Time to be determined. Take care.
Have a good one.